This is for Unit 3. We are talking about slope for linear equations. Before we actually figure out the answers for this sheet that you're working on, I'm just going to talk generally about slope-intercept equations. So we know that the general form of a slope-intercept equation is y equals mx plus b. And m represents the slope of our line, or we also can consider this as representing how steep our line is. Well, b is representing the y-intercept, and this is where the graph crosses the y-axis, or also what is our vertical axis. Okay, so when you look at these equations, for example, number 1, you're given the equation y equals -1/4 x plus 3. So in this case here, you're just looking for the number next to x. So the number next to x is -1/4, and you can actually just circle it, and that's your answer. Okay, so that means since it's -1/4, that means that our line would be going down. Okay, the steepness of it is going down. If you look at number 2, this one's a little bit different. It is y equals -5. Now there is no number next to x, but if you wanted to, you could think of it as saying plus 0x. Okay, so again, the number next to x is 0, so we could say that our slope is 0. Okay, and that means for our slope is 0, this y equals -5, if you were looking at a graph, it actually just means that we have a horizontal line down here, x and y. Down here at -5, that means we have a horizontal line here. Okay, so for number 1, our slope is -1/4. Number 2, it is 0. The only other issue that I could see you running into is on, for example, number 10. This one is entirely different. It is x equals -1. And if you're thinking about the graph of this, that means that our graph, here is our x-axis and a y-axis, and at -1, we have this vertical line. And our slope, well, we can't really measure the steepness of this line. This is a vertical line, so this is a special case where our slope is actually a special word called undefined. We can't figure out what it's going to be. Okay, this also is going to happen if you look at like number 12, and let's see if there's any other ones. Nope, it looks like just number 12. Okay, so if you want to just hear a little bit more background, you're more than welcome to keep listening to this video. If you're all set to go, that's fine also. You'll learn about this later on, so if you want to pause it or stop it here, that's fine, but here's a little bit more information. So for example, okay, if you had this line here, you could see that your slope would be positive. Okay, your starting point, or your y-intercept, would be at, let's see, -1. And your slope b is, that's trying to figure out how steep is this line. So it looks like in order to get to the next ordered pair, so we'd have to go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2. So if we were writing our equation, it'd be y equals up 3 over 2, that tells us how steep our line is, our slope, times x, plus our y-intercept, or our starting point on our y-axis of +1. Okay, for this next one, it's kind of similar, so example 2. You don't have to know this yet, we'll go over it when we get to that point. But again, it looks like our starting point on our y-axis is going to be at 4, and then the steepness of our line. And here our slope, our line is going down. So we have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. Okay, so our equation would be y equals negative 4 over 1x, that's our slope, the steepness of our line, plus our y-intercept, which is 4. And usually we simplify to negative 4 over 1 is negative 4. Okay, but in this case, again, you're just looking for the number next to x.